What the fuck is standpoint theory? Karl Marx makes a very basic claim, which is that social interactions with the natural world around us shapes us and the knowledge which we gain. But on the other side, it actually also sets limits on what knowledge we can gain, depending on our understanding through those social interactions, particularly in our social relationships and maybe what social relationships we don't have. Let's say, theoretically, you are living in Ireland. Most of your social relationships are going to be based in an Irish understanding of things. So it's actually going to be very difficult for you to understand, let's say, the experience of someone in Brazil. There's kind of a limit on your knowledge. You can read about people in Brazil, you can read about their life, but there's an experience-based knowledge that you're probably just never going to be able to get without actually being there and actually interacting there. But we can go a little bit further here and say that you might have people who are placed on fundamentally different positions within a society. Each position will receive opposite versions of experience-based knowledge. Let's say you have those in a very dominant position in society and those in a very oppressed position in society. Each will have a very different view of what society looks like due to their positioning. It's then also argued that those people in the dominant position, due to how they're cut off from certain social interactions, social knowledge, end up having this obstructed and actually kind of perverse view of how these social relations are working. But due to their general dominance, their viewpoint is generally filtered down to other people and forced upon others as the right position. However, the material position of the oppressed people within a society don't view society from the heightened position of the dominant class, but view society within its real material and social relations. They see all the good things and the bad things about it. For Marx, this dichotomy was the working class in opposition to the capitalist class. However, for Nancy Hartsock, it was the different conditions that men and women lived in which separated their view of society. However, both were of the position that the oppressed would need to get rid of the dominant ideologies they were under. First off, with a scientific approach to gain an objective view of what your standpoint is, and then secondly, on an education approach, which allows you to share that understanding to other people with a similar standpoint. This might sound a little bit abstract, but we can take this with the class system in capitalism, where the capitalists will end up with kind of a distorted view of society due to the kind of life that they're able to live, not seeing the hardship that the worker in their business goes through. Their experience knowledge is one that's inherently outside of that perspective. It's the worker in the business who ends up seeing the kind of more complete picture of the capitalist system through their experience from their standpoint. It's the significant difference in the material conditions which open up or close certain experiences off to certain people in society. Nancy Hartsock does this with a feminist perspective, where she says that men and women in society have created and been placed and still live with differing material conditions between men and women. Men don't necessarily get the experience that women has in certain aspects of society, while women, on the other hand, get to see those certain aspects of how their material experience is possibly limiting them or shows a different side to the system, which would be called patriarchy, that is harming them. You could even argue recently a lot of men have had to take a look at their experience in this system, questioning how their thoughts around like masculinity have affected them, how their conditions around them have made them think of themselves and their standpoint in a certain way. And the standpoint theory can go out to a lot of different things. You could use it, let's say, racially. You could do it with the LGBT community. Basically, anytime there's this social system in place which has a certain set of power dynamics that ends up materially affect the experience of different communities, people will end up with specific experience knowledge that provides them a different insight into that system than maybe other people have.